First time in 8 years that we gotten a 3-star review. One of our former members sort of commented like, hey, I don't think that you should be flexing that you're getting, bad reviews. Like, I think it leaves a pretty bad taste in your mouth, in our mouths, and you should go back to showing more people just training at Allegiate. Like, I want to see my friends lifting. I don't really care about you like building the business. Shook me up. I'm definitely focusing in on the negative right now. And it's like classic what you do. You get a million good YouTube comments and then you focus in on like the 1 or 2 bad ones. It just sort of shifted this kind of like content creation aspect that I've been doing and I've been shipping constantly. It kind of like threw me for a curve, and I just had to like take a step back here and think about like, why am I doing this? Do I want to do this? And I think the other thing that was harder for me is a bunch of like, a handful of our members like double tapped it. And so it's like you look in there, it's like, okay, are these people thinking that, they don't like that either? Am I going too far in that direction? By the way, on the other side, we had like 4 members with a lot of likes on that one commenting how supportive of community of this, how much they love Allegiate, how great it is for women. So I guess the lesson is like, you just got to keep going. You just got to get back on the horse and just keep shipping stuff and keep telling your story and keep trying. And I'll implement some of that feedback. Like, I think that's good. Like, okay, I'll work in more community or like member photos and training. What those people don't know is like, who's going to shoot those photos? Who's going to edit those photos? How are we going to get those in? Like, I'm not going to go to each location and snap photos of a bunch of people training. You know what I mean? We don't have front desk. Like, we just don't have the staff or the capacity to do it. And so a lot of what I've been doing and like making is more so finding out a way how to create captivating content within the resources and structure that we have. Like, I'm also responsible for growing the page and getting our bigger name and conversation out there in a broader market, not just like showing, Susie and, Janine, like, good job, like they did, got 100 visits, which is still important stuff, right? Because you want to have that, but it's like, what are we trying to build? Like, I'm trying to build a big brand. I'm trying to make an impact. I'm trying to have exposure. And so thinking through like all those things, and then when you're the one that's like constantly putting the stuff out there and you get kind of feedback like that, just kind of like, it was like a jab, you know what I mean? Like, oh damn, like I got popped right there. Like, I'm still in the fight, you know what I mean? But I was like, I haven't been socked like that in a little bit. Before you go and do a bunch of work, I always like this idea of making the payoff worth it. I want to know where we're going and how the math says we could get there before I get into all the inspiration, all the creativity, and getting lost in the details. If we hit these numbers and like where we should be aiming for to get, if that's gonna get us where we wanna go. So at the top here, I've got today how many members we have. Then I've got our goal member number. Then I've got our new member average in the last 6 months. So doing what we've been doing, how many new members do we add each month? I've got my churn percentage based on the last month. So how many members do we organically lose each month? Then I've got my member number needed, and then I've got the time to hit that goal. So basically I'm saying I want to go from 278 members in the South Bay to 300 members by August 1st. So that means I basically have May, June, July, 3 months to do it. I know right now I'm adding 12 members per month at our South Bay location at a 2.4% churn. That means that I need to get 15 members. So I need to add an additional 3 members per month to be able to hit that goal. If you don't think about churn, you're just gonna add new members, but you're also gonna lose members, right? So it's not like you just add 10 members, everybody stays and you got a 0% churn. So you gotta factor that in. Now, the bigger your membership base in your location, the harder it is gonna be to reach that, assuming the same churn. Now here's the thing, Santa Monica has less members, like 178 members. My goal is to get to 200 there. We added the same amount of new members in the South Bay as we did in Santa Monica, 12 total members. But here's the kicker. We've got a 3.8% churn. We've got a higher churn. So that means that we have to get a total of, what is that? We got to add 16 members. But in the South Bay, I only had to add 15 members. This is just because of churn, right? So if you can, lower your churn by a percentage, that would be incredible. Or you just have to pour more into the top. So you got to be thinking top of funnel stuff that I need to pour in, but then also bottom of funnel stuff, retention stuff, so I can actually still keep those members. And then this is what it looks like. Redesign our intro offer because I think we've got a differentiated product, but I don't think our intro offer is differentiated. We've got a 1-week pass for $29. We've changed some of our staffing, like we don't have front desk in person anymore. And our intro offer was pretty dependent on that setup because they could give great first impression, do some qualification, explain this and that. And so in conjunction with continuing our paid advertising stuff and learning that and bringing the agency in-house, I'm going to try this. Highest level, best way that I've figured out to like get complex projects off the runway is using Scrum, which one of our members actually turned me on to. It's an agile project management framework, which basically says like when you've got a very complex, holistic, multifaceted thing, how do you rally the whole team, stay organized, and start shipping and taking immediate action? You start with a project backlog, which right here on the back is like, here are all the things that I think we could do. Now, it's not totally complete yet, but it's a good enough start to, one, completely overwhelm me and make me think like, oh my God, do I really want to take this on? But it's got enough sort of detail where we could start getting messy and getting dirty. Then the next step is I put this in like a Kanban board or Asana where I can say like, these are all of our to-dos. So this is the whole list of things, our project backlog that we want to do. To do, doing, and done. And each week, we plan out the work that we're going to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to prioritize by the easiest to execute, so the lowest amount of time, and the highest value, because that's going to start getting some really good momentum, and we're going to be able to start actually using this thing by the end of the week, right? And then it's also a core tenet of Scrum is you have something in like software development that you can ship and you can test and that people can like play with and actually use. So a thing that's published that the user can actually click around or like use. So it's a little bit harder because I'm not like in software, right? But the general premise is like you should be shipping stuff and getting them done. It should be like not almost complete, but like done and usable. Then the next thing after that is once we plan our sprint, we divide it amongst the team and we say like, you're going to do this, you're going to do this, you're going to do this. And these are the only things that you can focus on. And we've got 1 week to do it. Traditional Scrum also has like a daily stand-up meeting where you have to like check in on your project and how things are going. I've done that in the past. It hasn't been as effective for us, so I'm not going to roll that one out right now. And you also write it from a perspective of like, as a prospect, I want to land on your website and have a bunch of availability to book a call so I can immediately start my trial. You write it as like a user story like that. So when it comes to actually doing the thing, you don't get lost in like other details. It's very like focused on like, oh, okay, as a prospect, I need to do this. Or as a sales manager, I want a clean, simple dashboard so I can see when shit hits the fan and the volume starts really going, how we're tracking on a day-to-day basis so I know what our actual numbers are, right? So that's like too long-winded, but you get the point on that. You write in these user stories. So then you've got a bunch of cards, like Post-it notes, if you will, with all these user stories and the things that to do. Then you move them into the sprint to do, and you just start chopping away and making progress on those things. And this is how you can unite a team around a pretty burly, complex project and get things done. And the more kind of advanced you get, you can start to see like how fast your team is moving through these things. So rip it, use it, and go make shit happen.
Head supported dumbbell